All right, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me. We'll be starting shortly. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening. Thanks very much. Please share with your friends, your colleagues. Let them know we'll be starting. Thank you. Our numbers are coming up. Please share with your community. I can see President is just the only YP is here. Vivian Mokon. Thank you very much. All right, please share. We'll be starting shortly.
Good evening, Ms. Juliana. Please kindly make me co-host so I can share my screen.
Good evening, everyone. We'll be starting shortly. We have Professor Juliet on the call. You are welcome, ma. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's ALP lecture themed Stages of Mining Exploration to Rehabilitation. My name is Iwawerena Agogo, President SP Delsu Ole Student Chapter, and I'll be your moderator for today's lecture. Please, can someone confirm you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. On behalf of the SP Worry section, in collaboration with Delsu Oli and Redeemers SP Student Chapter, I welcome you all, and we are pleased to have you join us. This session promises to be insightful, and I encourage you all to fasten your seatbelts and stay engaged to make the most of this opportunity. Good evening, Joshua. While we wait for more participants, can you please let us know where you're joining from using the chat box? Please, if you're on the call, let us know where you're joining from using the chat box. Okay, we have Joshua said he's joining from Asaba, Delta State. Welcome, Joshua. Juliana Oj joining from Port Harcourt. Welcome, Juliana. You're welcome. You are welcome. Okay. So let's quickly dive into today's order of events. Please, next slide. Next slide, please. I introduce myself again. My name is Iwa Orena Agogo, the President SP Delsu Ole Student Chapter, and I'll be your moderator for today. I welcome you all. Next slide. All right. We'll quickly dive into the safety moments. As we all know, in the energy sector, safety is very, very much important. And the safety moments will be taken by the person of Bright More Denning, the student member of SP North Chapter. Ms. Bright, please indicate you're on the call.
All right, I'll be taking that in place of him.
Okay.
I'll be taking that in place of him. All right, thank you very much, Reina. My name is Juliana Oj. I'm the ALP lead for SP Worry section. We know this is a virtual event, but just before we go on, I would like to emphasize on some ground rules. Please mute your mic when you're not speaking. If you have any questions, you could indicate by raising up your hand or dropping it in the chat box. Just in case you are anywhere, please ensure that you can still hear the fire alarm from where you are. If you are using a headset, ensure you can still hear the fire alarm from wherever you are. We'll be here for a while, so please ensure where you're speaking that you're speaking softly so you don't strain your back. And that'll be all. Always stay safe. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Juliana, for that wonderful safety moment. And like I said, we all know that in the energy sector, safety is a major priority, and it is very much important to keep to safety briefs. Like she said, mute your mic when not speaking, ask questions using the chat box, and so on. Without wasting time, I would love to call on the person of Prof. Juliet Emudianuge, the section secretary, SP Worry section. Please give her a virtual round of applause. Miss Juliet, please confirm you're on the call.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma, we can hear you.
Okay, not Miss, please, Mrs. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, ma. So sorry. Mrs.
Okay, so good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, so this is very nice, and when I saw the collaboration, it's a nice one. Having Redeemer University, Desole campus, collaborating with Warri chapter, that's nice. And good evening. I don't know if our session chair is on the call. I saw a B on the call. Good evening, and good evening to all that have joined, both professionals and students. You are all welcome. So I'll just quickly go into the opening remark. It's like my this thing is going off. Confirm you can still hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, ma.
Hello. Okay. So once again, good evening, everyone, or maybe morning, afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Respected industry leaders, members of the SP Session 104, another session that might likely join also, both students and all that have been invited to come for this meeting. Good evening, and you are all welcome. So it's my privilege as the session secretary, and I'm the picked on to do this opening remark. I warmly welcome you to this ambassadorial lecture program, a platform where knowledge meets practice. I know we have done this over time, and where future professionals engage with realities shaping the extractive oil and gas, energy, and the mining industry. So this thing is very, very interesting. We're talking about the stages of mining, exploration to rehabilitation. So it's not a normal norm that we do in SPE. So it's very exciting to see that we'll do this because it's a major part of what we do. Then captures the team itself captures complete life cycle of mining in a way that is both practical and profound. It reminds us that mining is not a single activity when you look at this, but a sequence of carefully connected stages, each requiring scientific rigor, economic insight, and a strong sense of responsibility. Because you look at what happened in Nigeria Delta, what happened in the mining industry, the oil and gas, there are a lot of activities that are there that are carefully being put out, and SP is fully involved, the geoscience family is fully involved. So from exploration where geoscience unlocks the hidden potential beneath the earth, to resource evaluation and feasibility where economic decisions are made, through mining development and production where engineering expertise brings resources to life. Like when we do our own hangars, where geoscience explore, the petroleum engineers they bring their expertise and be able to see how they bring what is in the subsurface down to the surface, which is very very professional, very strong, and ultimately to rehabilitation where most where the land itself is being restored because it's not just to just mine or explore. How are you leaving the land at the end of the day? So all these are the circle that we'll be able to look at and be able to reaffirm our commitment to sustainability. Each stage shares a story balance between opportunity and obligation because we as professionals in the energy sector we have an obligation to for sustainability. So this lecture is an invitation to discover the science, the economics, and the responsibility behind every mine. It challenges us to look beyond extraction and to embrace a holistic view, one that values environmental stewardship, community impact, and long-term responsibility as much as profitability. Because when we do this, we need to look at okay, fine, what comes up, how do we be able to make our environment, everyone around us be profit from it, especially our communities, the community, our host communities. How is this be profitable to them? Also, is fine. Then, as emerging leaders, the young professionals, industry stakeholders, practitioners in the energy and mining sectors and oil and gas sector, this really lies with us to ensure that every stage of mining is carried out with excellence, integrity, and foresight. So I encourage you all to listen attentively, pick your pen, pick your paper, and engage meaningfully and draw lessons that will shape not only your careers but also the future of responsible resource development. To be able to get that at least if you are in the mining sector, you're in the oil and gas and all that, be able to get something out of it that's meaningful that you can use. That is why SP organizes different lectures at different times. So you able to get one thing and know the updates of what is being done. So I encourage all of us to be able to listen attentively, take our pen and biro and be able our pen and paper and jot something down that will be able to help us in our various workplace. Once again, you are most welcome, and I wish you all insightful and impactful lecture time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs.
Okay,
Juliet,
thank you.
for that wonderful opening remarks. Thank you. Thank you. Right about now, we'll be going on to the next segment. Please, next slide. Yeah, we'll be calling on the person of Joshua Shooks Okoli the membership chairperson, SP Delsu Ole student chapter, to take us through the icebreaker session. Joshua, please confirm you can hear me.
Loud and clear, ma. Thank you, ma.
All right, take us away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Person of Joshua Chuksokoli, the membership chairperson, SP Delsole chapter, and I'll be taking you guys on the icebreaker session. This next slide. Once again, good evening, and we would love to know where you are joining us from. So make use of the chat box below and type where you are from, where you are joining us from. I'd like to know where our distinguished colleagues in the profession are joining us from this evening on this wonderful. Welcome, Miss Amina. Welcome, President Del Sole Campus from Uli. Welcome, AB Bobomi from Oklahoma, USA. It's wonderful, and we really love having you. Moving on, welcome, Miss Amina, joining us from University of Maiduguri, SPE chapter. We are honored to have you. Moving on. Now, I would like to throw this question to the floor, and I'd love you to use the chat box below and respond. If mining was like cooking a meal, what would each stage be? The exploration stage. A. Checking ingredients. B. Checking the bedroom. I'd love you all to use the chat box and drop your opinion. The answer, the option you think it's best. Thank you, Miss. In a natural blessing. A. Checking ingredients. We'll find out if that's correct or not. Sarcalistus, thank you for your opinion, your answer. B. He said both. The president of Del Sole campus said A. Well, who knows? Miss Amina said B. Well, I think it's about time we find out. Next slide. Mining was cooking. Please, next slide. Those who are just joining us, I would like to welcome you and feel free to use the chat box. Use chat box below. Tell us where you're joining us from and what you'd love to gain from this meeting this evening. Now, the answer to the first question thrown was checking the ingredients. Now, exploration is the discovery of the resources. Now, we can say that checking the ingredients or exploring for the ingredients is best fitted to the question asked. Now, moving on. What would
All right, Mr. Joshua, thank you very much for that icebreaker section. We'll be moving forward to the introduction of the guest speaker, and I am more than honored to do so. I'll now proceed to reading our abouts. Next slide, please. Yes. Ms. Iheanacho Blessing Shuwendu is a mineral operations and inspection geologist at CCBC Testing Laboratory with hands-on experience across the mining value chain. Since entering the sector in 2023, she has worked in grade control and quality control of ores, as well as geological logging during exploration programs, giving her a practical understanding of how mineral value is defined from the ground up. Wow, that's impressive. In her current role, she oversees mineral inspection, verification, and pre-shipment processes, ensuring compliance with international standards and accuracy in mineral evaluation. Beyond operations, she has contributed to significant business growth by expanding the client base and driving revenue performance to over 100% growth within 8 months through strategic client engagement and trust building. Wow, that's very amazing. That's impressive. Passionate about the mining industry, Ms. Chinedu is driven by a commitment to help clients make informed decisions and maximize the value of their mineral assets. She is focused on bridging the gap between technical data and real-world outcomes, contributing to a more transparent, efficient, and globally competitive mining sector. Please can we give her a virtual round of applause? That's not something you see every day, and it is safe to say that we're learning from one of the best today. Please give her a virtual round of applause as we'll make welcome Ms. Chiwendu to give us today's lecture. Ms. Chiwendu, please confirm you're on the call.
Good evening, everyone. If
Good
you can
evening.
hear me, please let me know.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I feel very privileged to be speaking to this great audience. Good evening once again. Do I share my screen now?
Yes, please, you can go ahead.
If you don't see my screen, please let me know. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Hello?
Not yet, not yet. Can you hear me?
Okay, okay.
Miss Blessing, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys see my screen now?
No.
No.
But if possible, I don't know if you could share it with Alice, so you can share it from here on our end. Thank you.
Okay, while we wait, I can see more people joining in on the call. Please use the chat box to indicate where you're joining in from. Indicate where you're joining in from on the chat box, please.
Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, ma, we can.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I want to use this privilege to thank everyone in the call and for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share a bit of my experience from the mining sector or industry. So I'm going to walk you people through the stages and phases of exploration down to the reclamation of the mine site and the closure. Okay. My journey through this mining industry has been one that I have really enjoyed. I first of all started off as a mine geologist in a production mining company at Kaduna. During my time at Kaduna, I was able to understand what it means to log your data, log the mineral ores that is being drilled out of the ground. That is the subsurface, geological mapping, target generation. That is the outcrops that you find and how to target the drilling machines down to these holes. And then more importantly, grade control. Grade is the most important thing in mining. If you don't manage the quality, there is every possibility that you can be sending something that has great value to the overburden or to waste. So I had the privilege to work alongside some good supervisors and industry experts that made me understand the importance of grade control, managing the exploiting data and the exploration data and merging them together to make informed decisions. Now, currently I work with CCBC Testing Laboratory, where we help clients and companies manage their ores. We help them prepare the samples, analyze it, and not just carrying out any type of analysis. We help them test in accordance to the ISO 17025. This is like a standard and accepted testing method. So my background of what I'm going to be sharing today is not just something, it's not only about assays, also something that I have lived and not just studied. I'm going to be sharing my experience. So moving on, the topic is the stages of mining, starting from exploration down to rehabilitation or reclamation or remediation or mine closure. So every data that drives every data that we use to make decisions are connected together. They're connected together. We don't just decide like that. We try to make informed decisions from what we have seen, from the data we have accumulated. Now, for every piece of land that you have seen, or every ton that you have seen that we have mined out from Nigeria down outside, or we have exported, started as a dot on the map. And I'm going to walk you through the process. Now, when I told you that there are stages of the mine, starting from exploration to resource estimation, feasibility, production, processing, and rehabilitation or remediation. For each of these stages to progress, chemical assay must be conducted. Chemical assay must be conducted. So let's take, for instance, you went to, let's say, Nasarawa, and you were walking past a land and you saw a stone and you picked it up, and you're just curious. You want to know what is there, what's happening in this terrain. You pick it up. But before that, you want to understand, you want to explore for these mineral deposits. The first stage of carrying out this of mining is to explore. Find where the potential is. Understand the area photography of that area. This is where remote sensing and mapping comes in. You're easy to spot out potential mineralizations, some outcrops that you're seeing and you're wondering, this is an anomaly. You mark out those places. You mark it out on the map. And now you're going to focus on it. That is why we have to use an area photography. Because if you're just walking on the ground, you're not going to get a clear view. You cannot cover the expanse of the land at once. So the first method you employ during the exploration phase is using area photography. Now, this area photography helps us to identify the anomalies. It helps us to understand, okay, the outcrop of this area looks very odd. It looks, something is going on here. So because something is going on there, you want to understand, how do we delineate this? Which brings us to collecting, or which brings us to collecting soil samples or geochemical, carrying out geochemical analysis. When you go there, you take something we call grab samples. You just grab a sample around those areas that you noticed mineralization. Now, because you're picking samples from the areas that looks odd, where you're finding the anomalies, you now take it to the lab and carry out a geochemical survey or geochemical analysis. This analysis is going to tell you, okay, there is arsenic in this, there is copper in this. So from the geochemical analysis you're going to carry out, it's going to tell you, oh, because arsenic is there, because copper is there, these are pathfinders to gold. So now you have an idea of what you're going to be expecting in that area. So geochemical halos are like a geochemical fingerprints of what the ore deposit is in the subsurface. So you have an idea of what you're expecting. Then the next thing you carry out is you now employ drilling. You employ drilling. You mount your drilling machines. But before that, you have to consider the type of drilling you want to involve. Do you want to use diamond drilling or do you want to use reverse circulation? Diamond drilling can be more expensive, but then it gives you a detailed core log. It gives you a detailed core picture of what is in the subsurface. So take it that when you invest in the better type of equipment, you're going to get a better outcome. So this drilling is more like is revealing what is inside the ground. You want to know how the rocks are behaving beneath the subsurface. Mind you, you're not going to know. So you're now drilling at those targeted areas that you saw the anomalies. Now, after that, you now log the data of the core drill samples that have been extracted. You display them on a tray. Remember, we are not just drilling one area or one drill point. We can find these anomalies in different places. So with the idea of drilling at different points, each tray is going to have its core drill trays and descriptions of what is inside there. So when you look at the core drill, you explain the lithology. You say, okay, I am seeing so mineral. I am seeing this. I am seeing quartz. There seems to be a deformation. There seems to be a hiatus here. What is going on? This is like a geologist expressing themselves, telling you what is happening under the ground. It is a description of what is going beneath the subsurface. So you describe so that when someone looks at your logged data or your core logged data, the person can tell, okay, when we drill at depth 175, we are going to find this type of mineral at a certain grade because we have assayed the core logs. Now, what the exploration assay tells you. So I was explaining to you what the different assays are going to do. The geochemical assay, you've carried out your geochemical assay, you found arsenic or whatever mineral you found, and these things help to shape what you're going to be expecting from the subsurface. So now, one of the most important things is that it is important that you carry out an accurate sample preparation. We don't just take samples anyhow. You take bulk samples. You take from different locations. You cut, you crush and pulverize to ensure homogeneous representation of the representative rock. If you don't sample properly, remember you're going to get a different output. Everything you do in mining is dependent on your assay report, and preparation is very important. Then the next thing you do is different minerals, different methods to employ. That's different analytical methods. So for instance, if you're mining, or rather, let me see, if you're exploring for gold, it is expected that you use fire assay method. It is one of the oldest, but it gives you a very accurate and precise information about the gold that you can recover per ton. How many grams per ton you can recover. If you're in a very if you're testing for iron ore, or if you're exploring for iron ore, you can use XRF. XRF can show you all the mineral compositions present in the area, and then from there you can make your informed decisions. So these things are very important to do. They are like the basics. You carry out your quality and assurance and quality control. Mind you, there are standard materials or reference materials that we use to benchmark the analysis. If it does not meet the criteria, then that exploration will not take place. Now, the validated assay numbers are used by geologists. are used by geologists. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes, ma,
Hello?
we can.
Yes, ma, we can. We can.
Can you people still see it? Okay, yeah. So it's from this validated assay results that we now construct a 3D block model of the ore body. So let's say at the northeast part of the mine, the average grade that we are going to recover from there is about 60%. So you know that if you want to optimize operation, you're going to be focusing on the north part of the mine. So the geochemical survey that we have assayed is, we now give it to the resource geologist, who is now going to plot the 3D block model, which helps us to understand the ore body and then the estimated grade at each depth. In mining, different depths, different grades. You don't expect to get I'm using iron as a case study now. If you're mining at 70 meters, you can be expecting an average grade of 57% iron content. At, let's say, 120-meter depth, you can be getting 40%. It ranges. So that is what the resource modeling does for us. It helps you understand at different depths what you're expecting. Now, the next stage is resource estimation and feasibility studies. Now, the data we have generated is now going to help us decide, are we really going to invest our money into this? How much money can we make? How much ore is beneath the subsurface? Is it worth chasing for? And one key important thing is, are the data accurate? You have to cross-reference your data. You carry out your own analysis and then also send the same representative samples to another independent lab for control purposes, to make sure that the numbers you're generating from your own lab is accurate and reliable. So most of the time, people who invest in these mineral explorations, they must make sure that, the technicality details that you're offering them is matching. Nobody wants to invest blindly. They want to know the resource estimation, how much ore is beneath the subsurface. So I will explain how we can carry out this resource estimation. So if we think, let me use iron ore as a case study one more time, because I worked with an iron ore mining company. So let's say we are exploring for iron ore. Because you took a grab sample at a certain location and you're getting 80% of that grab sample, it doesn't generally mean that the entire mine area is going to be very viable. Graph samples do not tell you the real story. You have to carry out bulk sampling. Take up to 20 to 50 kg of the materials across the mine, pick it, and then you crush. I'm going over this again because it is very important. When you crush, we use XRF for getting insight. Mineral, it gives you idea of the mineral compositions. So you can be seeing sulfur, aluminum oxide, silica, and different minerals. That is the associate minerals alongside this iron ore. But if you want to get a specific grade for your iron, you are to use AAS testing method. AAS testing method is more accurate, more precise. It gives you an accurate information. XRF most of the time is used for large samples. You just want to get an idea. But when you want to know the specific information of that particular sample, you use AAS. So confirm payable minerals like silver for upside potential and identify penalty minerals such as bismuth, antimony, arsenic for cost risk. Now, when you're testing, there are some minerals you look out for because you're not just thinking about making profits. You're thinking about during the processing of these minerals, the extraction process, the flotation, there are associate minerals alongside the prime commodity. Let me explain that. For instance, you have lead ore, and in that lead mine, there is zinc, there is also silver, there is also copper. But when you do the analysis, the lead is accounting for 80%. The zinc can be like 16%, the copper can be 10%. So the prime commodity there is lead. But you're not just going to be thinking about the lead, oh, I found a high-grade lead. What should be at the back of your mind also, you're going to be weighing two things, is there could be presence of bismuth, antimony, and arsenic. Because when you send it to the smelter, these minerals reduce the processing method. It takes more time. So all these things reduce the cost that you're going to be recovering from the operation. So this is an example of an area you have drilling, but you want to know how much deposit is there, how much deposit is beneath the subsurface. So I always say that grade is king, but tonnage is the kingdom, because you might have a high grade, but if the resource is not enough, then there is no need to venture into that. There's no need to venture into that operation or journey, because if you cannot recover enough minerals, you're going to lose a lot of money. Now, how do we estimate the resource beneath the subsurface? So take, for instance, you want to understand what is the volume. So you check, you see a vein about 50 meters long, 5 meters wide, and 120-meter deep. This is like the depth, the width of the vein, and the vertical intersection. You calculate it, you're getting a volume of about 30,000 meters cube. Now, to get the exact weight, which is the tonnage, and tonnage is like the key thing here, is the primary thing. You multiply it by the specific gravity of the ore in question. In this situation, we are checking for lead, which is the specific gravity of lead is 7.3. When you multiply the volume times the specific gravity, you're going to be getting around 219,000 metric tons. Now, it is important to bring it into idea that because you have 219,000 metric tons of ore on the subsurface, what is the grade? We're not just talking about 80% grade now. Remember, we have gone past that, and we are now asking ourselves, what is the average? What is the average? Because at one part of the mine, you might be getting 65%. At the other part, you're getting 70%. At the other part, you're getting 40%. So when you do your average sampling, I'm just giving 40% now as our case study, and we are getting 40% as the average grade. So we can estimate that the actual amount of lead beneath the subsurface is about 87,600 metric tons, as against the 219,000 metric tons of tonnage. So what does it mean? It means that the remnants of the metric tons are the overburden. I will explain that later. This is like the amount of waste rock that you have to remove before you get to the mineral ore, which is like the value itself. Take for instance, you have a yam buried beneath the subsurface. The soil or the sand that you put aside before you get that mineral, or this sorry, the sand you put aside before you get the yam, that is the strip ratio. So now, the gross value. Currently, London market price for lithium for lead is going for $2,000. So with this, you can estimate already that, this venture should be giving me $175,200,000. This is outside factoring, and this is outside factoring removal operations, the smelting, the processing. This is just the in-situ value on ground. Now, the next thing, now that we have estimated how much ore that we have beneath the subsurface, the next thing we do is to produce. It depends on the board. If they think it's something they can do, if something they want to venture into, they venture into it. This is a live picture of our mining site when we were still excavating the overburden. So I told you people earlier on about overburden and strip ratio. So you can see right here that how deep or how far we have come, and the amount of overburden materials we took out before we could hit fresh rock. Fresh rock is like the stone itself. So it's not something easy. You have to account and put into consideration the amount of overburden materials that you have to remove before hitting the rock itself or the ore itself. So in production, the first thing that you have to account for or think of is the excavating method. Are you using open pit or underground method or any other method? For a cheap mine, and it's also safe, we use open pit. Underground is also good, but then the safety level, it's you have to put a lot of things in check. Now, going back to this overburden is simply all the material sitting on the top of the ore that has no economic value. So if you look closely at this picture that I attached here, you can see the amount of sand, red sand, which is called lateritic sand. Before we got to the yellow sand, which is a saprolite, down to the red, the fresh rock itself. So if you think that maybe mining is something that, I found something here, and maybe tomorrow you're expecting that you start getting money. No, you have to put into consideration the overburden material. Sometimes people lose a lot of money when they are still trying to bring out their overburden materials. Now, strip ratio tells you how much overburden you must remove for every ton of ore that you actually mine. I explained that earlier. It's just like you have a yam in the ground and you want to excavate it. So before you get to that yam, there's some sand that you put aside. That's the same thing here. So strip ratio is just like the tons of burden divided by the tons of, or that is, let's say if you have a ratio of 4:1, it means that you have to remove, or rather you have to excavate 4 tons overburden before you get 1 ton of your material. I don't know if that is making sense. This is still under production. Still under production. Very, very important. Very, very vital. So because you have excavated, now, when you excavate the overburden, in this case, we had this is an iron ore site. We had saprolite, we had latritic sand, which is the red sand. We had the yellow sand, which is the saprolite, before we hit fresh rock there. Now, the next thing you're going to be considering, now that we have hit fresh rock, we are going to be drilling. Remember when I told you about the exploration assay data and exploitation data? This is where the two of them are going to be coming together. We are going to be reconciling the exploration data and the exploitation data. What do I mean by that? The material that during the exploration or the data was showing at 175 meters deep, we are going to be getting iron ore of 65% at the northeast part of the mine. So because you have that at the back of your mind, you now tell the drilling machine, please drill to this part. Now, when you drill, you're still going to collect samples of this drilled, of the rock cuttings that you have drilled at, because why? You want to compare and contrast. Or the exploration data told us we are expecting this. Now, after drilling at that point again, remember we have hit the fresh rock. You want to know. You collect samples after drilling again. And then inside the holes that we have drilled, we now put explosives, which is for the blasting. And then after blasting, we excavate and feed the crushers. I will buttress these points one more time. Blasting. So most of the pictures I used in this slide, they are basically real photos that we used in our mine. All right. Please, if you can still hear me, please let me know.
Yes, can still hear you, ma.
All right, thank you. So, like I said earlier, blasting. Now look closely. You can see the yellow. You can see the yellow drilling machine there. That drilling machine is drilling deep down to a certain depth. This is more like we are preparing for blasting. We are preparing for blasting. So because we are preparing for blasting, we are going to drill at the key zones that we are expecting a high grade. Remember, mining is all about making profits. You don't want to focus only on the areas that are of low grade. I told you that from the 3D resource modeling, you know the areas that are of low grade, you know the areas that are of high grade, but it doesn't mean that you're not still going to mine it. You will mine it, but then sometimes at certain points, you want to focus on the areas that have high grade. So now we drill. After drilling, we put explosives and everybody vacates the mine. So explosives are strategically placed into the holes. And then we make sure that everybody leaves. Safety first. Everybody leaves the site. Everybody leaves the site. And so these explosives are done to reduce the rock fragments so that it is also easier for the excavator to excavate these materials, because some of these dumpers cannot carry the stones at once. You have to blast, reduce the rock fragments so that it is easier for the excavators to excavate the materials. So that's basically the chain in production. You excavate, you drill, and then when you drill, you collect, you resample again. This is very important. It is very important. That reconciling the two data of exploration and exploitation is key. It is very important to check that. Now, moving on. Okay. We are gradually going into processing, which is like the sixth or the fifth part of the mine cycle. Remember, I told you that we have already blasted. Now we are going to feed the raw ore to the processing plant. But before you do that, you want to know what you're feeding to the plant. I think this basically explains everything on this slide. The ore transport, we transport the ore, and then it goes to the crusher. It goes through the first primary crusher, secondary crusher, and then the beneficiation process. So let me just move ahead to the processing part of the mine cycle. Now, this part of the processing is very, very key. It is so vital. A lot of people do not put this into consideration. They just do not put it into consideration. Because why? They think that because they've started blasting, they've hit fresh rock, that any other thing can wait. But I'm here to tell you that if you don't understand the ore itself, that is ore characterization, then your plants might not function very well. So it is important to understand the ore. So the first thing, yes, President Ole, you're raising your hand.
I just wanted to tell you we have like 2 minutes more.
Wow. Okay. Okay, so let me quickly rush. So because you want to understand the ore, the first thing you do is what are the mineral compositions? Like I told you earlier, for iron, you're going to be seeing silica, aluminum oxide, titanium oxide, phosphorus, sulfur. Then the next thing you have to do is understand the minerals, that's the mineralogy inside that ore. What is inside? What is present? Remember, iron ore has different ore types. There is hematite, there is geotite, there is magnetite. So if you understand the mineralogy, it's going to help you understand the beneficiation route you're going to use. And then more importantly, the liberation size and the mineral associations. What this means is that what are the other minerals that are beside the target ore itself? It's going to tell you how fine do you grind it. Do you leave it the way it is, or do you crush it at a certain micrometers? All of that is important. Then the physical testing, that is bond work index. This bond work index is telling you at how much work rate does the machine have to grind before it can crush. All of this, remember, you're burning diesel, you are burning machines, labor, fuel, everything is on work. So this helps you design your plant. We know how the oil is behaving. It helps you design your plant. So like I told you, your processing, you want to understand the iron percentage, contaminants, and attracting penalties. When you have excessive silica and aluminum, you'll be paying a lot of taxes. Phosphorus, this reduces the steel quality. So you have to understand how to mitigate some of this risk. So I just want to give a little case study of what happens when you don't carry out a proper ore processing. In 2006, the Australian iron project, they carried out their exploration. They did what they were supposed to do. They felt like, oh yes, we can do this, but they did not design their plant very well. The grain size was too fine. So because the grain size was too fine, it would cost so much energy for the ore itself to be crushed to the certain level it can before it goes to the other stage. Remember, I told you about bond work index, which is how much energy do you have to exact before you can crush it to a certain stage, which is like the ore hardness. The ore was extremely hard. So most of their feasibility study was centered around the easy or the very fine parts of the plants that they saw. But you know, when you start processing, you're taking ores from different parts of the mine and you're feeding it into the plant. So a lot of feasibility studies, a lot of things needs to be put into consideration. And another case study is the Gujeni iron ore mine plant. This is actually where I worked. So after 1 year ago, when I left the company, they started telling me that their level of recovery of iron ore is very, very low now because they started seeing titanium oxide. Titanium oxide can reduce the iron ore that you can extract from the iron. So you see, it is important that you put that into consideration because if you don't characterize your ore very well, then you don't know what you're building. And if you don't know what you're building, you're going to rubbish all of your hard work. Now, there are 6 stages of site reclamation. Now that we have extracted, we have processed it, it's about reclaiming our site, making it healthy once more. So the first thing is you close the mine. How do you close the mine? You sand fill it with the overburden materials that we excavated initially. I explained this. Those sands that you had to bring out before you hit the rock, you close it. Then you level up the land one more time, restore good soil, and life returns back to that place. So I think my time is off. And so to put it in conclusion, exploration is telling us there is something there. The resource assay is telling us how much ore is there. The grade control is telling you, oh, please dig there, don't dig here. This is where the main thing is. Characterization assay is telling you this is how we are going to process it because it has a bigger grain size here. This is the type of plant that is suitable for it. And then environmental assay is telling you we are done. We have to put so things in place. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Shirendo, for that very insightful lecture. What really stood out for me was how mining doesn't just end at extraction, but it extends all the way to rehabilitation, and shows that successful mining isn't just about output, but also about sustainability. Please, let's give her a virtual round of applause. Thank you, Miss Shirendo, so much. Now I'll be diving straight into the next segment, which is the questions and answer. So please, if you have any questions, you kindly use the chat box or you indicate. Please, next slide. If you have any questions, you can start dropping your questions in the chat box or simply raise your hands while we wait for the next slide.
Rana?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so since it's going to be question time, I think we can just have the questions come in because she's still sharing her slide. Probably if she needs to like reference back at something, she would go back. So let's do
Okay,
that.
then.
Thank you.
All right, then. Okay. We have a question from Nacho Chigozirim, and it says, what is XRF and how exactly does it work? Ms. Rindu?
All right. To answer that question, now XRF is a method a type of testing method we use in assaying minerals. Now, there are different types of testing methods, but the reason why XRF stands out is because it is easy to use and we mostly use it in exploration because when you grab a sample, you're just anywhere, you grab a sample, you want to know what are the minerals present in that or itself or in that sample that you picked up. It's going to show you, oh, there is lithium in it, there is silica in it, there is magnesium. It just displays everything that you need to know. And because you're a geologist, when you see some minerals present from the XRF machine, already it is showing you that this is a pathfinder to a setting. Or let's take, for instance, you pick a sample and you're seeing copper, you're seeing lead, you're seeing zinc. It is a pathfinder that there is gold in that area. So XRF helps you make fast and informed decisions, but mind you, it is not accurate, but it gives you an idea of the minerals present in that particular area. I don't know if that answers the question.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Shimendu. I also have a question. My question is, how can young engineers or students prepare for a career in the mining sector? Ms. Shimendu?
Yes, I'm with you. So, I would say one of the ways that set me into this industry is attending conferences. I got my first break into the mining sector at the NMGS conference. I'm very inquisitive and enthusiastic, so I ask a lot of questions. And so when there was an opportunity, they called me and I did very, very well. And since then, it has been one referral after the other. We think you can do this, or they called you to do this. And then it's also about putting yourself out there, doing a lot of research, asking a lot of questions, even the ones that seems very cumbersome for you. Just go ask people, ask questions, look for industry experts that have been in the sector. Most of them are more willing to even help you. All you just have to do is ask questions and try to put yourself in the right place and at the right time. Networking helps. Networking helps. That has actually helped me so far.
All right. We have two more questions. We'll take these two more questions and we'll call it a day. So from Ienacho Chigozirim, he said, does one need any special training to operate the XRF machine? And from Miracle Del Sole, he said, a question here. What are the biggest real-world challenges mining companies face when moving from exploration to actual production?
Sorry, come again.
From Ienacho Chigozirim, he said, does one need any special training to operate the XRF machine?
No, you don't. These days, the XRF machine has been made very easy to use. Anyone can actually handle this XRF machine. And then there are some complicated XRF machines, but most of the time, the ones we use in exploration sites are handheld XRF analyzers. It's like a handheld gun. You just pick up your sample and you put it under the microscope, and it's just shows you the mineral composition. So you don't need any experience, nothing. You just
All
like
right.
when you have your phone and you take a
All right.
screenshot. Yeah.
Thank you, Ma. The last question said, what are the biggest real-world challenges mining companies face when moving from exploration to actual production?
Please rephrase that question again. What are the biggest what?
What are the biggest real-world challenges mining
Okay.
companies face when moving from exploration to actual production?
All right. One of the key things, especially in Nigeria here, is getting investors. It is very hard to get investors who can buy into your your exploration data. So because of that, you might not get the right funding and the right capacity. There are not up to 10 big mines that are operating on a world standard in Nigeria today. Most of them operate through low-scale mining. They don't use actual drilling machines. They just use like a water compressor that can just drill into the ground. So investment opportunities are very low in the mining sector, maybe because a lot of people are not coming here, and also the security reasons in Nigeria is also posing as a very big obstacle from attract. So that's a very major challenge, because production is capital intensive. Like I explained earlier, excavating those overburden, I can tell you for free that you can be excavating overburden for almost 6 months and you have still not hit the fresh rock. So sometimes you can lose hope. But if you know what you're doing, if your investors or the people you're working around with knows what is beneath the subsurface, they will keep on pumping money and continue extracting the overburden before the fresh rock is being hit.
All right. Thank you. I'm pretty sure everyone has gotten answers to their questions. Thank you, Ms. Rendu, for a very, very insightful lecture. We are more than honored and we really, really appreciate you. Thank you. So before we go forward, I would like to recognize the presence of some distinguished personalities. No other than Mr. Lucky Emimi, the YP chair. Please just give a visual round of applause. Everyone, please. All right. Thank you. All right, moving on to the next segment. Please, next slide. Miss Adi.
Good
Yeah.
evening. The host will stop sharing, please. Yeah. I mean, the speaker would stop sharing, please. Yeah.
Hello, please, you can start sharing. You can start sharing. You just overwrite it immediately, please.
Okay, while we wait for them to quickly pull up the slides, I want you guys to use the chat box to drop some important or little things you learned from today's lectures. It doesn't have to be much, little things you learned from today's lectures. Use the chat box, please.
My screen will be up very soon right now. I'm trying to share. I'm having a hard time sharing.
All right, that's not a problem. All right, so moving on to the next segment, we're going to be having the presentation of certificates, which is supposed to be done by the person of Ms. Juliana OJ. Ms. Juliana, please confirm you're on the call.
Yes, Rena.
All right, please
hear me?
go ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Rena, for such a wonderful moderation. I also like to thank our speaker, Ms. Henacho. Thank you for bringing, I'll say, the spice. This is not something that we usually do, but I'm sure that our students, populace, and the young professionals really learned a lot in this session. I also want to thank our section secretary for the opening remarks, Professor Juliet. Thank you very much, Ma, for joining in and for our collaborating chapters. On behalf of SP Warri Section 104, I would love to present the certificate to Ms. Ihe Nacho for delivering this ambassador lecture program. Thank you very much, Ma, for delivering such an insightful and educative lecture. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. And we also want you to give us more, we pray that you give us more lectures in the future. Thank you very much, Ma. And thank you to all of you for participating on this call today. All right, over to you, moderator. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Ms. Juliana. Right now, we'll go ahead to the photograph and networking session. So it'll be taken by the person of, and please, the next slide.
All right, so please, can we just kindly turn on our cameras if you're in a good place? We'll take it very, very quick. Please kindly turn on your cameras and we'll make this very quick. If you're in a good place, we'll do this in the next 1 minute so we can move over to the next session. Thank you. I can see Miss Juliana. Please, can we kindly turn on our cameras? Okay, I could see.
All right, please stop sharing the slides so we can capture a lot of people. Thank you.
Okay, can just see two
We'd
people
love to
turning
see
on
your
their
beautiful
cameras.
and handsome faces. Please turn on your camera if you're in a good place while we take some snapshots. Thank you very much.
All right, so I'll take this in 3, 2,
SP
1, and
solution,
go. SP.
solution, people, energy.
Okay.
SPE, solution, people, energy.
Solution people's energy. Solution people's energy.
Please confirm who's taking it.
All right, so we are good.
All right, thank you very much, William.
We are
Thank
good.
you
Thank you
very
very much.
much. Thank you. Over to the next session. We're going to be having this little quiz, which is to be taken by Mr. William Okon, the YP of SP Warri section. Please confirm you're on the call, Mr. William.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much, moderator. All right, yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this amazing session, this Lido quiz challenge. So we'll be representing our school. So right now, I'll be sharing the link. You'll find the link on the chat in the chat room. That's the link. Please let's kindly join us. Joining us, we commence the Lido session. Rep your school. Come in. Let's see how much have you learned today, and how much do you know? So we could go back and do our own work, right? So yeah, now is the opportunity to know how much you know and how much you do not know. So hope to start seeing participants joining. So I'll give us 2 minutes so we could wrap this session up. Okay, I've seen one person, Zidagbe Leshe. Hope I got that right. Thank you. So we have one participant in right now. Still waiting for more. Okay, we have another person in. Baby girl, welcome on board. We're still waiting for more participants. We have Bashu joining. Thank you very much, Bashu. Welcome on board. Still waiting for more. In 1 minute, we'll commence. 1 minute will comment. Can we have more participants joining? Any challenge? I hope everybody can access. Okay, we have Rena joining in, and it's 6:21. So I'll count in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's go. So we're starting from the first question. Which stage is most responsible for generating large volumes of waste rock? Is it exploration? Is it development? Is it extraction or rehabilitation? All right, so we had many people going for rehabilitation. So what's the correct answer? Extraction. What's our leaderboard like? Baby girl is on top. All right, let's go to the next question. Which sequence is correct for the mining life cycle? Out of 1, 2, and 3, which sequence is most correct for the mining life cycle? And our correct option is we have 67% of our participants taking B, which option B is the correct answer. All right. So what's our leaderboard like? Okay, we have baby girl leading. I'm not seeing two. I'm okay. All right. We have Agbelesh, Agbeleshi leading, baby girl and Bashir, followed by Miracle Del Cielo. All right. Thank you very much. Next question. Which activity may continue even after mining has stopped? Is it blasting? Is it ore hauling or environmental monitoring? Is it blasting? Is it ore hauling or environmental monitoring? What do you think? And our answer is environmental monitoring. Most people got that correctly. And our leaderboard, baby girl back on top. AGB second, Arena third. Amazing. Let's move. Which scenario best indicates transition from exploration to development? All right. Is it discovery of ore grade? Is it completion of a bankable feasibility study? Is it first drill core recovered or initial satellite imagery analysis? What do you think is the best answer? All right, so we got this one wrong, right? So answer is completion of the bankable feasibility study. Okay, so baby girl is still up. AGB and Rina. Let's move it. All right, which geological factor most directly controls whether mining will be underground or open pit? I think our speaker made mention of this when she was addressing us. So what's our correct answer? All right, thank you very much. Almost everyone got that. Everybody got that. All right, the table still remains the same. Next question. During exploration, which method provides direct subsurface geological evidence? Which method? I think our speaker also mentioned this as well. So if you're listening, you could easily sail through. Yes, so drilling and core logging is the correct answer. Thank you very much. Leaderboard, AGB up, Baby Girl second, Arena third, Bashir and Miracle. Next question. A geologist observes beds dipping away from a central axis. What structure is most likely? Which structure does this most likely describe? Yep. All right. Some people got that anti-Klein fold. All right. Thank you very much. The table is still the same. ADB, Baby Girl, Rina, Bashir, and Miracle. Next question. In a normal fault, what happens to the hanging wall? What happens to the hanging wall relative to a footwall? I'm giving everyone an expo already, Abi. So let's see what happens. Does it move down, move up, move sideways, or does not move at all? What's the answer? All right. So we have, yes, your hanging wall will move downwards relative to your footwall. Thank you very much. So what's the table like? Table still remains the same. This is great. Nice competition. We still have one more question to go. Why are unconformities important in geology? Why is an unconformity important in geology? What does it indicate, show, or represent? All right. They represent missing geological time. So that's it. That's correct. What's our table like? Okay, Bashi overtraining Rina. Let's move to the next question. Which structure is most likely to create earthquakes? Between a fold, fault, and unconformity, which is most likely to create an earthquake? All right. And the majority has it. So, congratulations to everyone that participated, and a big congratulations to the winners as well. So we have Agbeleshi as number 1, Abigail as number 2, Arena as number 3. Please, you also identify yourselves and you reach out to the ALP team lead for your prizes. Thank you very much for participating. Do have a lovely day.
All right, thank you, Mr. William, for that amazing little slide session. Over to the next session now. Please, the next slide. Okay, we're going to be going over to announcements, which is taken by no other person
I
than...
would do that. I would do that.
All right, then.
Can we move to the next slide, please? All right, so our announcement as follows. We have just one today. So the SP Worry Section 104, our very own mother section, will be having her annual
Hello, please
technical
confirm.
symposium and exhibition, and it's themed protecting energy.
Can you hear me? Can
Yes, I
anyone
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
All right.
Yes, I hear you.
Or I think we lost Abby on the call. So I'll just take the announcements. We have a very big program coming up, 2026 Annual Technical Symposium and Exhibition. Promises to be a very insightful time. It's happening on the 29th, 30th of May. For sponsorship, please reach out to the numbers of the flyer, or you could even reach out to me or my co-lead, and we'll put you through. All right, thank you very much. Over to you, moderator. Well done.
Thank you very much. Before we dive into the next segment, I would like to recognize no other person than Mr. Bashir, which is the senior YP in the Worry section. Please give him a virtual round of applause. All right, over to the next session, please. Next slide. We have our membership drive, which is to be taken by Ms. Hello Ortega Obo, the membership lead SPYP Worry section. Ms. Hello, please confirm you're on the call.
Yes, good evening. It's Juliana again. I would like to take this in her stead, the membership drive. Please, the next slide. So my name is Juliana Oje. I know you must have been hearing my voice. I'm the ALP lead for Worry section. And just in case you've been invited here by a friend or someone, this is SP section 104 Worry. What we do at SPA, when you become a member, you can get first-hand information to internship and career information. You get access to good mentorship programs from industry leaders, scholarship and trainings, access to vast technical and professional resource program just like this one. You can network with industry leaders and professionals both locally and internationally. And just in case you remember, you've not renewed your membership, this is a sign, this is a call for you to renew your membership. For existing members, it's 54,215 naira, and for new members, 61,215 naira. If you're a student, you can reach out to your chapter president. She's on the call right now. And if you're a YP, you can reach out to me or my co-lead and we'll put it through. SP is a place for you to be. You would gain knowledge, you would meet amazing people, and your life would potentially grow. All right. Thank you very much. Over to you, Reina.
Thank you, Ms. Liana. Thank you very much for that wonderful membership drive session. Now we're diving into the next session. Unfortunately for us, we have come to the last segment of today's lecture, and the closing remarks will be done by no other person by Miss Adedoja Adewale, the SPE YP Worry section. Miss Adedoja, please confirm you're on the call.
Yes, I am. Good evening.
All right, take us away.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. So my assignment is to take the closing remarks, and I'd like to specially appreciate our speaker for today. Personally, I've learned a lot of the things that I learned when I was in school in geochemistry. I'm happy to see that there are real things that are happening in the industry, and the mathematical formulas and everything we crammed in quotes are actually useful and relevant. Thank you for that very, very insightful session. I would also like to appreciate the collaborating section for today. They also thank you for doing this with SP Worry section. And I believe that all the attendees today have gained a lot. Thank you for coming and thank you for being a part of this. Till next time. Cheers.
All right, thank you, Miss Adedoja. With that, we've come to the end of today's lecture. You all have a great day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rena. Thank you so much.